You're listening to the Voices of Recovery podcast. This is a special episode featuring a recovering addict. Hi, my name is Sophie X. I'm the host and producer of the Voices of Recovery podcast. I'm joined here today by Kathie Purple. Hey, Kathie.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for doing our readings for the Just for Today and for the SPAD for the month of April. And you're on our special series of Working in Recovery. 36 years clean, ladies and gentlemen. This lady has been in the rooms for a long time and has been in service both inside and outside the rooms to recovering addicts. So I am so grateful that you found time in your very busy schedule, working multiple jobs.
True.
And doing service, right? You're an active participant in multiple meetings that I've seen you in. I see you in meetings all the time. And it's very refreshing to see somebody of the amount of clean time that you have. You have several decades clean, being present at meetings and sharing at meetings. And thank you for doing that. And I'm very excited to have you on.
Happy to be here. If I'm not doing service, I'm doing a disservice.
I completely agree with you. So tell us a little bit about who Kathie Purple is and how you came to work in recovery professionally.
Yeah, it wasn't always my passion, although recovery has been my passion for 36 years. I was in a different field. And then that crazy thing called COVID hit. And when I was no longer working and I wanted to find something that was meaningful to me, that I was going to make a difference, I knew that recovery was so important. So I just knew that it was going to be a new direction for me. Someone suggested it. I have no regrets. I have no regrets.
How did you come into this field?
Well, if you told me that my story could help others, I wouldn't be surprised because I know in recovery we share our story every day and our experience every day. But to know that I can actually make a career out of it was a little surprising to me. Basically, just learned from other people that there was this thing called a SERPA, which is a recovery peer advocate, a certified recovery peer advocate. And again, COVID hit. I wasn't really busy at the time. And I was like, oh, let me just try taking these classes. And I did. And like I said, no regrets. And it's funny, someone actually mentioned to me that there was a position available. Would you come and interview with us? And again, someone from recovery, right? That's how we get all our gifts, was through someone in the fellowship.
Yep.
Yeah.
What were you doing prior to this?
Well, I've always been nonprofit. It's been 20 years of nonprofit. Before that, I actually worked at a wonderful organization that grants wishes for sick kids. So I knew I was going to stay in nonprofit. That was a definite. But like I said, COVID hit and changed everything. So again, I'm still at a nonprofit. This is a nonprofit organization, and I just have a different mission today.
It seems like you've been working in service for a long time. So what drew you to working with addicts?
Yeah, something I was just passionate about. If I don't like what I'm doing, I'm not going to be good at it. I was not really good at sales. I couldn't sell you anything, especially if it was something I didn't believe in. And I believe in what we're doing. I'm an example that recovery works, that there are different pathways to recovery. When people say, what do you do? A huge part of what I do is Narcan training. We just want people to not die, because if they don't die, they can get the message of recovery. So I think it's just really important. And now I'm not leaving.
And so for people who don't know, Narcan is a very quick intervention to prevent overdose from a myriad of different substances and can very quickly bring you back to life in a fatal overdose situation. It's very important that we have that type of training.
It's unfortunate that it's needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's poison. Stuff out there is poison.
Especially in this day and age,
Yeah.
right? The drugs out there are just kind of a wild card.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're getting these days.
Yeah. When I share my story when I'm at work and I'm educating, the good thing I like about it is I get to share my story every day. Like, I don't have to be anonymous if I don't want to. And I share my story and I say, when I was using drugs, nobody was trying to kill me, just me. You know?
I was the only one.
I was the only one. What's happening in the community is terrible. It's just terrible. There's so many new things out there. They're not even new anymore. New to me. It's Russian roulette. Every day you're playing with your life.
Exactly. And honestly, people are just trying to get more money for less drugs and cutting it with things that are super, super, super dangerous and toxic and lethal. I'm a chemist by training, so I can tell you the chemistry out there is not right. Do not take it lightly.
Yeah.
Be afraid. Using is not the way to go. So what brought you into the rooms
That's a funny story. I don't know if funny is the right word. So actually, it was my sister who brought me into recovery. She had found a better way. So we were using buddies.
Originally from
From the Bronx.
Bronx,
Yeah,
the
used
boogie
in the
down.
Bronx, got clean in the Bronx, grew up in the
Now
Bronx.
she's out here in Long Island.
Yeah, you can take the girl out of the Bronx, but you can't take the Bronx out of the girl. So I was using, my drug of choice was cocaine at the end. Before that, it was everything. But my sister and I were both using together, and she got clean. And she called me up one day. She goes, I found a better way. It's called Narcotics Anonymous. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a problem. Well, I realized I had a problem. So I was 9 months pregnant, and I couldn't stop using. And when my baby was born, he was born tested positive for cocaine. And the court system stepped in and said, lady, you got a problem. And I was mandated. I was mandated to get treatment. And I'm grateful. Sometimes the worst thing that happens is the best thing that happens, because that's how I found my way into a church basement.
Well, what brought you to using to begin with? You didn't grow up with drugs in your system.
No, I did not. My first drug was from my sister, which is ironic, right? So I was a chubby kid. I hated school. I hated gym. I hated putting on those uniforms back in the day. We had uniforms for the gym. My sister was taking speed. She was speeding, and I was like 12. And she said, here, try this. You'll get skinny.
Oh God.
Yes. Yes.
The
Back in-
antidote to all my problems.
Yes,
Just
back in
take
the day.
this.
Yeah, just take one. Well, guess what? I really liked it. And I was like 12 years old, buzzing around the classroom. It literally just progressed from there. Like
You're in the 6th grade doing speed.
sixth grade.
Okay.
Sixth grade doing speed. I didn't even know what it was. Called it yellow jackets
Mm,
back then. Yeah, they were
sounds
pretty.
appealing. Sounds like a toy,
Little
honestly.
yellow and black stripes on them. They literally looked like
Yeah,
the bees.
little
like,
bees.
Yes, exactly. So I did. I took my sister's advice because I wanted to be skinny and popular like my big sister, and who was 10 years older than me. So if I was 12, she was 22. I wanted to be just like her. And it started with that, but it was never enough. It was never enough. I wanted more. I wanted different. Before I knew it, I was the leader. Give it to Kathie. She'll try it. I tried it all.
How did it progress into unmanageability? When did you start to see the first signs of that?
Well, dropping out of high school, school was no longer important.
Were you a good student prior?
No. I was smart, but I was never a good student. When I look back at it now, I can see that I was smart. I just didn't apply myself. I dropped out in senior year, and I decided to take my GED. I convinced my mom it was a really good idea. I'll just go take a GED. And I smoked 3 bags of angel dust, and I passed. And I think about it now, and I'm like, I really did have some brain cells. They were there working.
Neurons were still firing.
I got really unmanageable after that. Like, my mom started to put rules down, or try to put rules down, so I just ran away from home because I couldn't handle rules. And I moved myself into the streets with no income, with no means of supporting my drug habit. I just depended on the kindness of strangers, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
I literally moved into a basement, my friend's basement, because her mom was cool. She was allowed to get high in the house. She was allowed to have boys over. So I just moved to her basement, and I slept on the floor. Like, I had a perfectly good home, but I chose to sleep on a floor on a mattress next to a boiler
So that you can use your drugs.
so I can keep using.
But you didn't have a problem.
I did not.
Of course not.
Everyone else did.
Yeah. You guys have the problem with my using
Yes.
drugs. I don't have a problem with using drugs. I'm doing it just fine.
I did it well.
Sleeping on the
Mom-
basement next to this boiler.
Yes, mom had a problem. The community had a problem. The teachers had a
The
problem.
police had a problem. Not my problem.
Not me. I have a period of time on my Social Security income where I didn't work from like 17 to 27. I got clean when I was 27. So that period of time, there was no income, 0 income, but I was still able to continue using.
Drug addicts are resourceful, man. You
Yes.
got to give it to us. How are you getting high for a period of 15 years with no income? Watch this.
Yeah. All the tricks, I was really good with my mouth, right? I can manipulate anything. And I'm still good with it, only now I get paid.
Yeah. And you're doing positive things.
I'm doing positive things, exactly, like this. I moved out of my neighborhood. I moved to a bad neighborhood. I'll call it a bad neighborhood. I'll call it an unhealthy neighborhood because the drugs were far away. So I just had to get closer to the drugs. So I moved into Hunts Point. If anybody knows the Bronx, you know what Hunts Point is all about. This way I didn't have to jump the turnstiles to get on the train anymore because I didn't have money for the train. I just brought myself closer to the drugs. And then I met the love of my life, my son's dad. And I say that with sarcasm because he was the drug dealer.
Right.
That's why he was the love of my life.
The Prince Charming, man of your dreams.
Yeah, he supplied everything I needed until it wasn't the love of my life anymore.
Yeah, until it brought you to your knees.
Yeah.
So when you did get pregnant
Mm-hmm.
and you were in the process of growing this child and using, what was going through your mind?
That it wasn't real, that it wasn't going to happen.
That the pregnancy wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, there was no prenatal care. There was no vitamins. I wasn't even on public assistance. Like I wasn't even getting food.
How are you eating?
Yeah, well, I did have a boyfriend.
Yeah, so
he supplied. I tell the story a lot because he ended up in jail by the time I was like 6 months pregnant. Yes, 6.
Surprise, surprise.
Yes, no surprise. 6 months pregnant, he went to jail and I was on my own. I would buy a package of hot dogs a week and I would eat one hot dog every day. And I had a dog. I actually had the nerve to have a pet.
Oh my God.
And I would share my hot dog with my dog. Thank God he was little. He was a
And
little
you were pregnant?
And I was pregnant.
Oh my God.
So I weighed about 125 pounds and I was 9 months pregnant.
Plenty of money for drugs, though.
Yes, plenty of money for drugs. I did. I managed to continue using every day, every single day on a daily basis, selling everything that was in the apartment, making friends with the landlord so I didn't have to pay rent. I did everything I needed to do to keep a roof over my head and drugs in my system.
Insane.
Yeah.
You have this child.
I do.
And now you have a problem because you can't keep this child.
Right.
The state is now stepping in to say this child is born with cocaine in his bloodstream. What happens next?
Yeah. Well, the mom that I ran away from became an important part of my life. I'm grateful today. She's no longer with us, but I'm grateful she was there. The night I went into labor, I was smoking crack and I ran home because the pains were getting great enough in my stomach. I was like, what's going on? Oh, maybe this is what labor feels like. Because again, I had no prenatal care, so I had no due date. I didn't know when it was coming. I didn't weigh anything. I was this tiny little thing. But I remember going home to my mom and I go, Mom, I think the baby's coming. And she literally like threw a 20 at me. And she's like, just get out of here. Just go. And I jumped in a cab and I went to the hospital. And again, he tested positive. And they told me the next day or 2 days later, you can leave the hospital, but the baby can't. You better figure out what you're going to do. And I'm grateful my mom stepped up. She stepped up and she became a foster parent and she took the classes and she took custody of my son for 2.5 years. It took me 2.5 years to get custody back.
What was that process like for you?
It was all court mandated. You know, I had to pee in a cup. You got to go pee in a cup, lady. Appear in court, take parenting classes. By then, his father was out of jail, pretty much useless to me and the baby. So my mom had full custody and I lied every day because they would send people to check on us and I would pretend like I didn't live there. And I would like get up in the morning when the appointment was coming and I'd get dressed and they'd be like, oh, what are you doing here today? And I was like, oh, I just came to visit the baby. Meanwhile, I had just like rolled out of bed.
So you were still with him?
We all lived with my mom. We all had to move home.
Right.
We didn't have anything. Right. So I was mandated to a treatment program very similar to the one I work at. I started doing that. I had a couple of relapses. It didn't happen right away. So my son turns 36 before I turned 36.
Before you have 36 years clean?
Before I have 30, yeah, my clean date. I started with the outpatient program, lying to the courts the whole time, doing whatever I had to do once again, doing whatever I had to do. My mom had custody of him for 2 years, and I finally graduated the outpatient program, which was all the court needed. But I knew it wasn't enough. Everyone in that program told me, what are you going to do when you get out of here? Like, how are you going to maintain your abstinence and your recovery?
Because it's easier to be in a program and to have somebody mandating you.
Yeah, I got to pee in a cup.
Right.
I got no choice.
But how do you maintain it?
Right. That's where the good stuff comes in. 12 steps, Narcotics Anonymous. I had heard others before me. Like I said, my sister got clean. So by that point, she had 2 years clean, right? She was the first one to even introduce me to the program. I started with a coffee pot in a basement and I just took a commitment. And if you had said to me that I was going to be on this journey for 36 years, I probably would have ran the other way. But I'm glad it was just a day at a time. I took a commitment. Took my baby to meetings. My mom was getting up in age by that point. He was a handful. The good news is he didn't have any side effects or anything from the drugs. And
no brain damage, no congenital defects, nothing like that.
No. And it was 1990, and there was a crack epidemic, as they called it.
Right.
And they talked about the babies being born during that period of time would need their own education system because they would not be teachable. Their ADD and the ADHD and all these things that were brand new at the time. We never had even heard of it before that. They were going to need their own educational system. Well, ha ha ha, and not true. He went through the regular system at school. I'm not going to say he didn't have his
Learning difficulties.
yeah, a little focus, a little, it was exactly that, ADD, just hard to focus, hard to get him to sit down.
I mean, kids too, just adolescents.
Yeah.
Kids are not meant to sit down at a desk for 8 hours a
8
day.
hours a day,
I'm just
no.
saying.
No, not at all. I'm proud to say he's a college graduate. He's got a degree, he's got a job, he's got a life. And even more importantly, he's not me. He didn't follow in my footsteps. He never had a drug problem, doesn't like cigarettes. He'll have a drink here and there. He's a good kid.
I've met him before. He's a very talented person.
He is wonderful.
We had a trivia night. Do you
Yeah.
remember that? That was like, I mean, I had met you prior
I
to
forgot,
that.
yes.
Yeah, I had met you prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I came in, I had never really played trivia, and I'm like not really good at answering questions. But for some reason, I did very well that night, and I ended up winning a little ukulele. Do you
I
remember
do
that?
remember that, yes, because there was people fighting over it.
Yeah, there were people fighting over it. It was funny because I got moved from table to table. They're like, you don't have room for you here. We need you to go here. We need you to go here. And I'm like, all right, well, and I ended up winning.
And you ended up being on the winning team. You were the winning team, yeah. Yes. He's a host. He's the hostess with the mostest. He's into the arts and theater and singing and dancing and
Very creative, talented man.
yes, yes.
Also part of the LGBT community.
Yes, yes, and a leader in his community.
Yeah, and a leader. Tell me about him.
Advocate in his community. He's pretty much the mayor of Hell's Kitchen. Like walking down the street with him, he knows everybody. He knows every store, restaurant. He's in the service field. His part-time job at night is a wonderful eatery in Hell's Kitchen, so he knows everybody in the community. His day job is at the theater, and he has built amazing relationships in the theatrical community. So just everybody knows him. They actually did an article on him saying he's the mayor of Hell's Kitchen.
That's wonderful. You must be very proud.
Yeah, I am.
So tell me what your recovery has been like in 36 years, right?
Yeah.
36 years is a long time to
Yeah.
be clean. What was early recovery like for you? What's it been like aging in recovery, having decades clean?
It's funny because when I got clean, I thought I was old. And now I look at 27-year-olds and I'm like, no, I was not old. I was a baby. I plugged in and I just kind of rode the wave of the conventions and the dances and the spiritual breakfasts. And I got very, very, very involved with the fun stuff because life is not over just because the drugs are gone. And I was like, why be miserable and clean?
You can have fun in recovery.
Fun. Did that for the first 5 years of my early recovery, including getting involved in service. It's always been about service for me. Just rode the wave. I met somebody in early recovery. We spent 22 years together in recovery, both of us in recovery, until one of us decided not to be in recovery anymore. And that is the only reason why I left the Bronx. He ended up picking up and using again and overdosing in front of my son. So I had to leave. And I really thought things were going to work out. Like I was going to leave and he was just going to change his life. But I know today that's not really how life works. And he continued on his journey. We lost him actually to his addiction. He died a couple years ago, 3 years ago.
I'm sorry.
Things happen the way they're supposed to, I guess. Everything for a reason. It actually gave me the strength I needed to move out on my own. I had never lived on my own in all my life. It wasn't until I was 50 when I got my first apartment on my own, paid my rent on my own, moved out to Long Island, met some amazing people, met the man of my dreams.
She's flashing a diamond ring.
A big diamond ring.
Your fiance is
my
such a nice
fiance.
man.
He's wonderful.
It's so funny because you announced your engagement.
Oh, right. That wasn't at the anniversary. It was before the
Lauren's anniversary. Okay, like an hour before the anniversary. She's like flashing this ring and all of us are like, I'm blinded.
That's right.
And we're trying to like get her used to the term fiance because she's
God.
always like, oh, my boyfriend. No, that's your fiance, babe.
Changed.
He put a ring on that.
Suddenly. Yeah, that's right. I
He's
did.
also in
He
recovery.
is in recovery. I resigned to that fact early in recovery that I thought my partner would be in recovery because there's a certain understanding that we have. I feel if you haven't walked the walk, you're not going to understand it. So I often thought when I'm sharing that I don't want to go to a meeting or I don't feel like going to a meeting, I kind of might need somebody who's going to say, no, maybe you really do need a meeting or all the other defects kick up. I really wanted a partner who was going to be in recovery. I think it's important. Not that earthlings are not compatible with.
Earthlings.
But yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for where I am today. So that journey, aging and recovery, it's still a gift. I mean, as much as the aches and the pains, and we start to have other things, I've lost a lot of people. The good news is from long periods of recovery, whether it's illness or just age, catches up with you eventually, a lot of wreckage from the past.
Relapses.
Relapses as well. But I think about the liver damage we do and the kidney damage. And, I lost my sister. My sister was my best friend for 62 years through the good and the bad and the ugly. And I just lost her not even 4 months now. And it was liver disease, I might add. She didn't stay in recovery. She guided me in and then she left. She left when she had 13 years clean, continued to abuse substances, and it eventually took her life. So, yeah, so I'm grateful I'm still here, aches and pains and all.
And the purple hair, the purple
And the
hair.
purple hair, because I'm still young at heart.
Tell me about the purple hair, because you're known as Kathie Purple in the rooms.
Kathie Purple.
It's funny, I was in Cape Coral in Florida. Dr. Phil, who is also on this series of service and recovery, is a friend of mine in Cape Coral. And I met him at the same meeting that I met Tommy at.
Tommy.
And Tommy says, "Do you know Kathie Purple?"
Well,
And I'm like, "Do I know Kathie Purple? Kathie
feel
Purple hasn't answered my message about whether or not she's going to be on this goddamn podcast. Let me send her a picture."
Kathie's a little busy, but yes, I love Tommy and Gail. Wonderful people from my early recovery. They were there before me, so I'm grateful for them holding those doors open when I walked in, a skinny little 27-year-old, not knowing anything. So I'm grateful for my predecessors. But that's another thing. We move to warm climates as we get older.
Yeah, we do.
I'm going soon. Give me a little bit of time, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And I still make meetings. I think it's really important. If you ask me where I am every Monday night, I am in Stewart Manor. I'm in the front row. I have a service commitment at my home group. I've done it all from coffee maker to GSR. Right now I'm the secretary currently. I've done greeter. I've done it all. And service is what keeps me coming. I was very involved with the Long Island Convention for 13 years. Service, service, service. That's how we stay in recovery.
Yeah, it keeps us coming back because we're committed. We say that we have to keep the doors open to welcome the newcomer. That's our primary purpose, is ensuring that the people who are still suffering from this disease have a place to go to find respite.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. I know you're a very busy woman and you're also celebrating your anniversary. And I wanted to wish you a happy 36th year anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I admire your recovery. I thank you for all the service that you've done. It's funny because I had maybe 60 days and I was picking up a key tag at a location that you used to work at that used to host a meeting.
Yeah, SNL meeting.
Yeah, and I had picked up my orange key tag and I was like so proud of my key tag. And I'm like, yeah, woo. And they had the black key tag and you walked up and you picked up your key tag. And I was like, oh, this lady who works here. I didn't know you were Kathie Purple in the room. I didn't know, I didn't know that you were
That was my
you were part of the
home
room.
group. Yeah.
I didn't know that you were part of the community.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this lady that works here just picked up a key tag.
That's right. I remember you were setting up the pamphlets. You were helping them set up. That's you jumped right in. That I do remember that about you. You jumped in. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I learned from my predecessors that that's the exact way to do it. You get a home group, you have a commitment at that home group, you keep coming back to that home group, and you make meetings and you do the step work and you get the step work done. And you call your sponsor and you get involved in a plethora of service commitments. I'm heading to H&I right after this, which is one of the things that is helping me stay clean.
Yeah, you know what's really cool? It's the same exact thing I did 36 years ago, and it still works. The program hasn't changed. Some of the faces, obviously, and locations may have, but the basics.
It's a simple program for a very complicated disease and for a complicated set of people. But thank you for your visibility. Thank you for all the service that you do. I'm going to ask one more question actually before we go.
I'm happy to do this. You giving me, I get to talk about my favorite subject.
Me. So one last question in closing. What's it like to be on the other side now? To do this professionally and work with addicts who are still suffering? Because you're not anonymous in these rooms. You have a name. Do you break your anonymity? Do you talk to people? Do you tell them your story? Where does the line get drawn? How do you not blur that line?
Yeah. So I was hired as a peer with lived experience. That's what the description is like I've walked in your shoes. The gift it gives is that any person coming in seeking help, they can't say you don't understand, you've never done there, you've never been through the court system, you never smoked crack. They want to separate themselves. And I can break that immediately. And I'm like, well, actually.
Guess whose baby was born with crack in their system?
Yes. I wasn't always this cute. Back then, I couldn't even afford hair dye. And I think you can literally see their face change. First of all, they're not going to get away with it.
Right.
Nobody knows it like I know it.
Oh,
They
have no excuse.
Yeah, no excuse. You have to draw that line at some point, though, because I'm also a community engagement officer. Not only do I work with the people we serve, but I'm also out there with our local community leaders, our political leaders, our teachers, our nurses. It's all about education and advocacy for recovery. So I don't necessarily start off with, hi, I'm Kathie, I'm an addict. Like, that's never how the conversation goes. Hello, Mr. Councilwoman or Councilman or mayor. Met several mayors in this field. But by the end, I always share, I am a person in long-term recovery. I wear it proudly today. There was a time when I didn't. And I will tell you that previous 20 years before I got here, I was anonymous for 20 years in that job.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a very conservative organization.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have purple hair either. They would not allow the tattoos.
Kathie Brunette.
Yes, I was. I was actually Kathie Red. I was a redhead for a long time. I worked my way into the purple. But, I don't have to be anonymous anymore.
Yeah.
I can wear it proudly and show people that there's hope.
That's so freeing.
Yeah.
And you get to make an impact every single day. You get to wear your recovery as your uniform to work. It's awesome.
It is. It is a blessing, and I'm grateful.
Well, congratulations on 36 years clean.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making yourself available and for doing the readings. There's so many people that listen to these readings all across the world. At this point, we're over 9,000 streams.
Wow.
Yeah, we're in 50 countries. I'm talking about Zimbabwe, Cambodia, just all over places where meetings are not available. People tune in to listen to these readings. I mean, at midnight, I wake up and people have already listened. It's like 12:01 and people have tuned in. People get notifications and listen to these things. So it's making an impact in ways that we don't know. And for everyone that's listening, know that this program is here. And we are here, and you're never alone. You're never alone. Thanks for being part of this, Kathie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
The Voices of Recovery podcast is an independent production of the Works of Wisdom. We welcome your questions and donations via PayPal at voicesofrecoverypod@gmail.com. This podcast is an independent production and is not affiliated with, associated with, authorized by, endorsed by, or in any way officially connected with Narcotics Anonymous or any of its subsidiaries or affiliates. While NA literature may be read during episodes for the purpose of supporting recovery, such use does not constitute an official endorsement or representation by Narcotics Anonymous. In accordance with NA tradition, the NA name is not to be used to endorse or be affiliated with any outside enterprise, and no such endorsement or affiliation is implied. Music is by Sage. Thanks for listening to the Voices of Recovery podcast.